It's the new car review for old car nuts, the new Car Skeptic. And what are we skeptical of right now? How about a 2020 Dodge Charger? Wait, a four-door Charger? Are we over that fact yet? No, we're not. As far as we're concerned, a Charger is two doors and a giant V8 over little tiny wheels and tires being chased by Frank Bullitt in a green Mustang up every hill in San Francisco. Then again, we've only driven rental Chargers, but hey, we're in San Francisco and we got the 2020 Dodge widebody Charger RT Scat Pack Plus. So guess what we're gonna do? If you're even a little bit of a car nut, you know the 1968 movie Bullitt. You know, Steve McQueen, ruler that he was, plays a cop in a new green Mustang fastback who becomes half of the most famous movie car chase scene probably ever. But the other half of that chase was a new Dodge Charger at the time. While everyone's all, ooh, Bullitt Mustang, we've always been, hey, but what about the Charger? We asked Warner Brothers if we could show you the movie and they told us to kick rocks. So we're going to bring you along on the actual chase route through San Francisco in the one Charger that would have probably changed the movie's endgame. So here we go. To kick off the chase, the Charger starts following the Bullitt Mustang on Army Street, makes a U-turn at a gas station, and starts climbing their first hill on York Street in the Bernal Heights neighborhood. Now, the gas station looks a little different, but here's a pro tip. This Charger's 392 Hemi gets 15 miles to the gallon in the city. That's 1.5. So take every chance to park like a boss when you fill up, which will be often. At this point, the bad guys in the Charger are just, casually following McQueen up York Street, and this is the first time I've got this thing's 8-speed automatic in the lower gears. It sounds killer, by the way. The shifter gate's fun to roll through, and that exhaust note kicks. And here's where I'll also mention how cool it is that Dodge stays faithful to that Scat Pack Angry Bee from the early days. As far as spirit animals on cars go, it's cooler than a snake or a horse or even a fish with teeth. Now the chase magically jumps 1.5 miles over to the Potrero Hill neighborhood, and here's where the Charger dudes see McQueen's Mustang in the rear view from an interior shot. So let's talk interior. These look like the same seats I have in my 2010 Chrysler, but these have the Scat Pack Angry Bee stitched into that suede Alcantara stuff in those Napa leather buckets. I mean, this Charger sticker's at just over 51 grand and the interior matches that price. I mean, nice, but not 100 grand nice. But whatever, if you got a vintage Charger that makes this kind of power, you'd have to crawl in over a roll cage, so keep that in mind and you'll absolutely love how luxurious this one seems. Now, the movie skips 3.5 miles across town to Russian Hill, down Filbert Street to make a left at Columbus. Now, this is the main drag through North Beach, and it's where you go to eat like Tony Soprano with all your friends if, you're picking up what I'm throwing down. So if you're going to treat your friends to dinner and a fast ride, make it a short one. The back seat in this thing is made for a 9-year-old, not a 39-year-old. I mean, it's nicely appointed with a little bit of rear climate control, but, you'll be pissed if you draw the short straw on a road trip in this thing. When the Charger makes a left up Chestnut in front of Bimbo's 365 Club, the chase just blows up. The rear end breaks loose and it smokes the tires all the way up the hill. I mean, I tried to do that a few times and those giant tires are just sticky enough that I never lost traction. I mean, I'm sorry. But here's where I'll mention the performance pages. This is my favorite feature in the car. Every gauge you need, onboard dyno, G-force, recordable drag race stats. I could spend an hour just on performance pages. Oh yeah, and a line lock, but more on that later. We make a left onto Leavenworth Street and zip past Lombard on the right, that crooked street you've heard of. But then we jump back to Potrero Hill again, and now we're on 20th Street, bombing down hills. In the movie, the cars start bottoming out as they hit hard on the transitions. I mean, I didn't do that, but I definitely punished the bottom lip on the front fairing on this thing. Back to Russian Hill again and a hard right onto Chestnut from Larkin Street. Fun fact, in the movie, this turn is where the Charger oversteers and stuffs the nose right into the camera. Absolute carnage. This is also where McQueen overblows the turn, does that kick-ass reverse move and beats on that 4-speed like it owes him money. Following the movie chase route, I run along Chestnut to Jones, up Taylor, and this is just a bunch of great ups and downs over the hills of the city. And perfect time to talk about this wide body thing. These are fender flares to cover 20-inch diameter aluminum 5-spoke wheels that Dodge calls Devil's Rims, and those are 305/35 Z-rated Pirellis. You burn these suckers off and it'll cost you around $2 to replace them, but that's also $2 worth of fun you won't get anywhere else, kid, you can believe that. And the red Brembo disc brakes are a nice touch too. Coming down Taylor Street, I make a hard left onto Filbert. Now, in the movie, legend has it that the Charger hit this corner doing about 60, and I don't doubt it. That thing also lost 7 hubcaps during the entire chase. But the form I had to sign from Dodge to get this thing says I couldn't do that. Plus, no hubcaps. The chase jumps across town again to a neat little stretch of Francisco Street where the street goes bi-level and the Charger stuffs the passenger front quarter into the wall. Again, I didn't do that. Dodge calls it widebody competition suspension, and it's definitely sticky through turns like this. Also, didn't test the G-force screen here, just for the record. Here's one of the few scenes that actually follows the city layout. The chase finally hits some flat ground in the Marina District. We call this living on campus, since most everybody here is way under 30 years old. Go through a few twisties past the Safeway that the kids call the Dateway, and out a great long stretch on Marina Boulevard towards the Golden Gate Bridge. This is where I can just cruise and play with the touch screen and all the onboard features, of which there are many. Alright, the Bullitt chase suddenly jumps 10 miles south to the bottom of the city for a quick hop across McLaren Park on Mansell Street, then jumps across Visitation Valley to Guadalupe Parkway and finally heads out of the city towards the hippie outpost of Brisbane. This is the part of San Francisco that really hasn't been hit by the scourge of the rental scooters or the $10 latte yet, so it's good for opening up this RT Scat Pack in ways you really can't do elsewhere. Again, if you're picking up what I'm throwing down. It's here where I can finally dig on that kick 392 Hemi V8, or 6.4 liter for you youngsters. It's the naturally aspirated version of the same mill Dodge superchargers for the Hellcat, but this RT has 180 mile an hour speedo for a reason, you get me? It'll make 485 horsepower at 6100 RPM, which is why the window sticker also says that you'll spend $6,000 more in gas over 5 years than a mere mortal sedan, but you'll know exactly where all that extra money went. Down at the bottom of Guadalupe Parkway, the chase ends at North Hills Drive when McQueen's Mustang shoves that black 68 Charger into a generally airborne maneuver a full decade before them Duke boys do it in an orange 69. This thing sticks the landing on top of a gas station to a fairly impressive explosion, but I'll just bring this one to a full stop at the light and calmly get out and do a walk around with you. Look, I don't want to give it back. Dodge puts all the money you'll spend on this thing into that giant Hemi, the 8-speed automatic, all the trick suspension, and the tech behind the performance pages. The fender flares make the wide body over 3 inches wider than a stock Charger, but you need them to cover those giant tires on those Devil's rims. Is it a Hellcat? No, but it's not supposed to be. For just under 500 horsepower and a factory warranty, you'll have 1,000 horsepower worth of fun and better handling. Is the new Car Skeptic skeptical of the 2020 Dodge Charger RT Scat Pack Plus? No. No, he's not. I say go get one and find out what the plus means. The fun way. Oh yeah, and speaking of fun, I saved the best for last. What other 4-door sedan comes standard with a line lock? Seriously? A factory-installed burnout maker? And if you wonder what it'll do, just hold down the brake pedal and a button on the wheel, hit the line lock good time activator, the car actually shows you what's about to happen on the handy dandy screen, and let her rip. God bless America.